Chapter 9, 1997 Jaguar XK8 in blue. The XK8 was the first car I bought with Dawn. At the time, I was falling apart inside, racked with guilt, haunted by regret, and clinging to anything that might restore a flicker of happiness. The Jaguar was my attempt to buy it back. Not my only attempt to buy it back. There were many over the next few years. For a few fleeting moments after I slid behind the wheel, it worked. The XK8 was beautiful. Blue with ivory leather and powered by a smooth 4-litre V8. To look at it was to smile, and occasionally to drive it was to forget. But happiness bought in metal and leather, or indeed happiness bought in any way, fades when your heart is in pieces. I'd left Cheryl, who was now in the arms of Alec, Dawn's ex-husband. Alec swapped his small cottage and difficult wife for my palatial hall, an accommodating woman, and indeed my Range Rover. Occasionally, I would see him gliding by in it, and it stung. The truth was, I'd walked away and left it there, and why wouldn't he use it? But pride whispered otherwise. Deep down, I knew Cheryl would have taken me back, yet my stubbornness, my ego, and my fear of ridicule stopped me. My family and friends had made their opinions brutally clear. I had made a terrible mistake. And instead of admitting they were right, I dug in further. How could I return after only 1 week? How could I explain that I'd torn apart my children's lives only to change my mind? Twisted logic kept me locked in place. So I tried to play the part of father to 6 children, Andy and Laura, plus Dawn's 4, and Amy and James, 8 in total. Dawn's kids were good, but that rhythm in the household there was totally foreign to me. Dawn, for all her outward confidence, lacked an inner anchor. She hated to admit being wrong, and she overcompensated with control. She loved appearances, the right words, the right presentation, the right image. To me, that was suffocating. I'd always lived openly, perhaps too openly, and it clashed with her constant performance. At work, her presence was even harder. Despite knowing very little about furniture manufacture, she would stride through the factory, voicing her opinions as if they were gospel. The men humoured her, but every time I failed to intervene, my own credibility eroded. I tried to stop it in private, but she carried on regardless, oblivious to the damage it caused. And yet she wasn't all bad. Dawn was adventurous, creative, a good cook, and a caring mother. She was also torn by guilt and insecurity, and her darkened moods often ruled the day. I used to think of it as a cycle. A handful of days where she was delightful. A week or so where she was tolerable. And then the rest of the month where she was utterly intolerable, angry, unreasonable, even cruel. Just when I reached breaking point, ready to leave, she would switch into lovely mode and pull me back in. It was a textbook codependent relationship, though I didn't know the term then. Slowly, I built a wall around myself, retreating deeper into an inner cave. Isolation became my shield. I longed to talk honestly to my family, but knowing how much they disliked Dawn, I couldn't bear the chorus of leave her, or worse, we told you so. Even with Carl, one of the few I could confide in, I held back. The irony was that I'd walked into this misery myself. I had made my bed, and I had convinced myself I deserved to lie in it. The XK8, for all its beauty, became a symbol of that contradiction. It was elegance and power on the outside, but inside I was hollow, weighed down by the guilt and self-loathing. Life lessons from chapter 8. Happiness cannot be bought. A car, a house, a new toy, none of it can mask an unsettled soul. None of it can paper over the cracks. Pride is a dangerous companion. My refusal to admit I was wrong cost me years of joy. Codependency is a trap. The cycle of conflict and reconciliation can feel like love, but it's control dressed as affection. Silence isolates. By not speaking openly with those who cared, I cut myself off from support when I needed it most. Self-worth matters. Once you believe you don't deserve happiness, you unconsciously sabotage yourself. Thanks for listening.